You're watching a free episode of my video diary series, where I record myself going over updates and details as I make more episodes of 5YL the Motion Comic. Stay tuned till the end of the video for an exclusive preview of an upcoming episode.
One great thing about Epidemic Sound that it's always done, but I never really utilize it, is you can download the stems of certain songs, so I can take out and raise the volumes of specific instruments and parts of the song to my liking, so I can customize these tracks a lot more intricately.
So already, episode 6 is proving to be the most difficult one of all.
This one, since there's so many characters, there's so many moving parts, gotta make sure I get all of these different intricacies and animations.
And also, I never felt like I truly was able to show off what Ultraviolent can do. Him and Buck Wild, I feel like their powers are just so hard to show off in a comic.
I created this additional animation based on 3 different alternative versions of Ultraviolent's arm. 4 actually, when you count the green shifting into purple, and upon doing so, I forgot to add the patterns at the end, so I'll have to go back and edit. But you actually see him have the sturdy arm with the segmented elbow and everything. It turns on, he squeezes out the energy, and then there's the in-between frame, and then it relaxes and turns into the flaccid arm. So you can actually see the shift from the jointed stiff arm into the tentacle shape, and then, you know, more animations. It's a lot, but it's gonna look really cool. The frustrating thing about this effect is the aura around it has this wave warp effect, but the actual slice blocks don't. So each one of these is 2 separate layers nested together so that the wave warp effect doesn't affect the block itself. And since all 3 are moving individually, that's 6 different layers with a pretty high processing power effect once they start stacking up. And then boom, here's 6 different ones, 12 layers, plus the moving background, Ultraviolent, and chip. This is gonna destroy my computer. So here I got the sound effects board for Ultraviolent. Then one by one, I'm keyframing in just the aura coming in, just to get the directions. You'll notice that I have them coming in at different speeds and sizes to give a little bit more diversity. Now I have all the blocks tracked onto it, and with that I can add the wave warp effect to the aura so that the blocks stay solid while the aura does a little bit of a wiggle. Then I've added on some motion blur to when they're first coming out, to give just that extra bit of emphasis. And lastly, just some extra bit of movement from both Ultraviolent and Vlad. You can even see UV get out of focus the closer he gets to the camera, although it's really hard to see off of my phone's quality, but trust me, it's there. Oh boy, so now we got Vlad turning intangible, cloning himself to dodge all of Ultraviolent's little shards here, while Danny, Technus, and Gwen continue to fight in the background all in one panel. On page 6 out of 39!
I am so glad that I got episodes 4 and 5 out of the way early, at least the rough cut versions, because this is gonna take me a bit.
It's currently November 15th. Ideally, I'd like these out before the end of the year, which would be about a month and a half from now. So far so good, but I don't want to let that confidence slow me down. Also, it looks like since Vlad's foot is blocked by all of this stuff, I didn't actually draw it here, so gotta fill that in. I also might do an alternate version of this fully colored too. I mean, it's already drawn. I just gotta slap some colors and shading on there. Shouldn't take too long. So I was just about to cut all of these things up, and I realized, you know what? I'm just gonna reuse the assets from the previous page. Why make 6 more if they're all just gonna look the same? So now I have the basic layout for Vlad's scenes, dodging UV's attacks, and I also found a sound effect for his cloning, which I kind of like. We have our first test of him going intangible, and then I made him blink a little bit as that passes through him, just to signify that it's phasing right by him. Looks good. Now that the Vlads are done, I have this separate motion of Danny and Technus clashing. You see a little bit of ecto energy rippling from there, and then they fully form here and keep drifting. This will all happen in the background. And of course, Gwen's flying back there too, blinking a bunch of different lights and stuff. Not to mention the background itself is also moving. So this right here is quite the shot. So let's make a panel. First, we got this background right here. Then we got this base, which contains a little nub of Vlad and the ship. And then we're gonna place the border right here. And then the first thing we're gonna focus on is Technus's trail. So we're gonna go ahead and create a mask around the trail that's about in this shape, just like so. Then we're gonna pan on over to here and create a keyframe right on the mask path. Rewind a little bit, and then we're going to change the shape of the mask. For one, all the way, dragging it back up here. And you'll see it's a sharp cut. Let's go ahead and change that feather to 50%. Gives us a little bit of a fade there. We're gonna bring that up. So now between these two different points, we see the mask grow down like that. Then we're going to create another keyframe just to add a little bit of space, and then rewind a little bit more, and then go to that path and drag the mask down towards the ship. So now it should look like whoop. Ooh, perfect. Let's see that in motion. Not bad. I do want it to be a little bit quicker, so we're just going to change the distance between some of these keyframes, just like that. Let's see how that looks. Nice. Now we're going to create a second version of this with Danny's trail. So now I have both trail animations set in place. Then during the last 3 frames of each trail's mask unfolding, I have both Technus and Danny pop in to their appropriate angles with a little motion blur added as well. And they continue to slowly move and grow just to keep the momentum of the scene going. I also have Gwen following closely behind as well. So we got this layer here of the Ecto Energy base that sort of blinks with the brightness and contrast. Then the lightning and dots layer, which grows at a slightly faster size and speed than its Ecto base, just to give it a little bit more depth. And we're gonna slap on and recolor 2 of these Ecto reusables that Crystal made for me the last batch. First one being a beam, and the second one being expanding dots outwards, as they have an impact with Ultraviolent shield. Then we place Ultraviolent right on top of there, blocking the Ecto Energy. And then lastly, we have this slight pan to the background just to give that some motion too. So we end with 14 layers on this shot. Sound effects are plugged in as well, and it looks a little bit like this.
Hey.
Thanks for watching. You can watch all 11 entries I have so far over on our Patreon, along with catching all future episodes as well. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our main channel to catch the completed episodes of 5 Whale the Motion Comic when they drop by the end of the year. And as always, keep it fizzy.